If you have to.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. Really? Okay, we are live.
If you're driving long distance.
We are live. We are gonna really quickly, I said we are gonna re-straw poll the section 1 around Blue Cross Blue Shield's governance on 585. So in light of the testimony that we just took, and I have Lori's vote already, she's giving me that. And I'd like to ask if any votes have changed as far, who would support leaving it as is in the bill as it currently stands?
Leave what is?
We're leaving it in the bill as it
Leaving what
currently
in?
stands.
Section 1,
Section 1.
governor appointed.
Governor
Blue Cross.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Lori. 8. All those opposed? 3. 8, 3. Thank you very much. Hi, Katie. Perfect timing. Okay. We are going to really quickly walk through 8 and 16. Why do we have these bills all with so many similar?
816.
816.
Okay, it'll take me a minute to log.
Fine.
2.2.
35-ish.
This is no good.
And
So I can say something to
sure,
speed it up.
sure, go ahead.
816 is the mental health and AI bill. And last we walked through this with Katie, there was some conversation around aligning the definitions of AI and generative AI with other bills happening in the legislature. So Katie's done that.
Those were all the changes we made.
I think that's the.
There was that one other change that came from Jetsa.
Oh, yes.
Jetsa here, Jetsa's here.
I didn't see it, but.
Oh,
2.2 are we on?
yeah.
17.
Yeah.
I have a copy for you too, Katie.
Oh, thank you. I have happy to. It might have been a deletion, so therefore it wouldn't show.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still joining,
Yeah, I
and
didn't.
then I'll pull up the document. Okay. You know what, maybe it's better if I pull up my email from Jessa, so I can remember what we pulled out. Oh, okay. Yeah. It was a strike through, so that's why it doesn't show.
Okay.
So Jesse's change was on page 7B, permitted uses. There is a second sentence in that B that says permitted uses include, and there is a list of different items. The version you saw yesterday was transcription and documentation support. You see where that is, line 17, and it had the phrase with patient or client consent. And the back and forth was that this might be confusing for providers because there's already straightforward language on page 8. C2 that says consent by a patient or client is required when AI is used to record identifiable therapeutic communications. So the suggestion was to delete the phrase with patient or client consent on page 7 and have it covered on page 8 and not have it addressed in two different places in a slightly different way in both places. So that is the change.
Sounds helpful. Go ahead, Brian.
Do patients have to consent to the use of AI in their treatment? In this
With regard to,
recording communication, but
Recording.
what about other ways?
so if it's like their billing services, no.
What if like the clinician is using it behind the scenes and not telling the patient?
How would they be using it?
It's a good question.
If they're using it for scheduling or billing, no. If they're using it for these types of transcription and recording services, they do have to disclose it.
And they currently don't.
Implied consent, do they sign off on?
That's a good question. That's why I'm just processing it. Did you hear that question?
No,
Oh, is
Do we want the language up?
I'm sorry, I apologize.
I see you, Alan. Let's go through the language changes and have your question asked, okay?
Yep. It does define consent.
Okay, so the changes right here. Artificial intelligence and generative artificial intelligence. So as we talked about yesterday, there was a conversation with another committee that the California language seems to be the direction states are going. So that is the language here. Excuse me. There is sort of still an outstanding hiccup on this that I think the other committee wasn't ready to address. And they said to just let it go this way for the moment. And that hiccup is that your original draft had this sentence that isn't highlighted. Artificial intelligence includes generative artificial intelligence. And, but for that sentence, you wouldn't need a definition of generative artificial intelligence because it doesn't exist in the bill in its own right. And so if you want to have both of those covered, you sort of still need this sentence. Their concern was that saying that artificial intelligence includes generative artificial intelligence was a bit circular, is what I understand. I don't know enough about artificial intelligence to explain why. But we went back and forth talking about different ways that it could be handled. And in the end, I was sort of told to keep it as is and that, you know, if there's more thinking as the session goes on, perhaps this might be addressed differently. But for now, this is.
And would it be fair to say that all the things that are moving kind of around the building regarding artificial intelligence, whatever, that somebody is keeping track of, like the ones that, so that they're not competing at the very end with each other?
I think this was the coordination.
Okay.
Yes. You have a bill with Jen on AI. I don't know if that's moving out this week, but
It's out.
otherwise
It's out.
it's out.
It's
Okay.
gonna be on the floor on Tuesday.
Okay. So I think there are two healthcare bills moving with AI and then the Commerce Committee, it sounds like they have a bill moving with AI also.
And they now have eyes on this.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye out. And then we change that again.
Yep, you changed it in both chapters where it appears, so this is an identical change. And then the other change we already talked about, permitted uses, so where is it? Right here, this 17 and 18 transcription and documentation support. So that had a clause that followed it with consent of patients and clients. But the email conversation was that this too already addresses consent and having it in two places presented in a slightly different way would be confusing to providers. So I was directed to remove the language up here. And so that is the third change.
Any questions for Jen on the change,
Me.
Katie on the changes? Sorry.
I go by, hey, you.
And then any questions on the bill in general?
It was just more about the
Yeah, sure,
consent
of course.
piece that, I saw Penny's hand. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, my notes are taken on yesterday's bill, not
That's
this
okay.
morning, so I just got a couple of questions. We're talking, I think it was on page 7, I think it still is 7, the algorithmic risk. How are we gonna identify that and manage it and monitor it?
Where, I'm sorry.
Okay, I think line 12. Let me see if I can find it on your regular one.
That's.
It's line 7, page 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Algorithmic
Okay,
analytics.
about the algorithmic.
Is that like things like GAD?
It goes 10, yeah. That's
Talking
about therapeutic.
Is that what?
But line 10, therapeutic decision does not include algorithmic risk scoring, data, analytics, or other clinical decisions. But that word is being used other places, and I just wonder, I looked at meaning up, but how do you identify or monitor something like that with AI?
What word are you referring to? I missed it.
Algorithmic.
Algorithmic,
Well, here it's being excluded, so they wouldn't have to track it.
so they wouldn't have to track it, but I did look it up and it's very easily part of AI.
AI are algorithms.
Because what I did after,
Right, yes.
and
They're made up
said
of-
some of the risk of it was kind of, to me, it was kind of alarming.
I think algorithmic risk scoring as used here is not maybe what you're thinking, because there's algorithmic risk scoring. My understanding is that's using algorithms to assess the risk of a situation,
Yeah,
not the risk of using an algorithm.
so how do we know we're not implementing it or using it? I know we got rules saying you can't do this, you can't do that.
So I think it sounds like each one of the places that you're seeing it, maybe using it differently because it should specify which type of algorithm. So in this case, like Brian said, they're referring to something like, have you heard of like the ACEs, where it's like, okay, have you experienced this? Put a 1, and then you add them up, and then it's like, if you've experienced 6 or more, then blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what they're talking about. And there's so many different types of algorithms that
Oh, I know.
each different one, I think, is specifying it. So maybe we have to look at each one as a separate case regarding, or as with the context that's around it.
Just did a word search and that's the only one that I pulled up in the draft. I wonder if originally the definition that we had yesterday had it. And if we change definitions, we don't have it anymore.
I don't. It's okay, I just sent a little flag up.
Mhm.
I don't understand the whole damn AI stuff anyway, right? So, right, and so somehow we gotta monitor it,
Mhm.
and I don't know how we. I don't know, I don't understand that.
Well, you have a lot of the enforcement happening through either OPR or the
Yep.
AG's office. My guess would be that there are folks at the AG's office who are starting to develop a specialty in IT technology, probably AI.
Hopefully,
So I'm guessing that it would be the expert
yeah.
who would have that specialized expertise, who would be doing the enforcement.
Just so you know what algorithm does? Every time you look something up on your iPhone and then you see something, like an advertisement,
Oh, yeah.
that's algorithm.
So it's gonna be part of this.
They're just saying they're not
This
gonna
is-
use it to
this doesn't-
score.
No, they're not gonna use it. I understand that. And they can't use it in their decision making and clinical reasoning. I read all that, but
Yeah,
you know, just because it says something, that don't mean you're gonna not read it.
yeah.
This is an exemption though.
Yeah, this is a
They're
carve
exempt-
out.
Yeah,
So they're saying you can't use AI for therapeutic decisions, but therapeutic decisions doesn't mean algorithmic risk scoring. So that potentially could be used.
Oh, wait, say that again? You just said?
So the bill says that you can't use AI for coming up with therapeutic decisions. And then in our definition of therapeutic decisions, we carve out algorithmic risk scoring, meaning that somebody could use algorithmic risk scoring because that is not a
Yeah.
prohibition on therapeutic decisions.
One's contradicting the other time.
No, it's just creating a carve out.
So if it happens, they're not in trouble. Okay, I'm okay.
Al.
That was my-
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Bill. So back to the consent thing. What I was hearing is that if a provider of mental health services is using artificial intelligence for administrative purposes, they do not have to disclose to the client how data is protected or shared in those administrative tasks. And that they're prohibited from using artificial intelligence in lieu of their own, without their oversight. And if they are using it with their oversight directly with the client and it's recording the interaction live, they have to get explicit consent as defined by the bill.
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
So I think the last part is correct. So this bill is not requiring patient or client consent for every use of AI by a provider. Some uses are allowed and they don't have to be reported or receive consent, like the billing and the scheduling. But if it's a transcription or recording, this bill says, yes, your client has to know and consent. The other question you're asking, I feel like, is a trickier question to answer. So there are HIPAA protections on privacy, and clients do have to, sign off on what the HIPAA protections are. If you're trying to ask me how does HIPAA protect from AI system sharing information, I don't think I can answer that question for you.
Are you familiar with the High Tech Act or what's happened since?
Yeah, and sorry, I'll let you answer.
I know.
Because I don't know it well enough, but I know that there's two additional help. There's high tech, but there's a newer one. I don't know if VMS knows what it's called. I'd have to look it up. And I know that there's evolution on how we're protecting privacy with technology. So I think in general, it's probably safe, like with billing and clearing houses and all that. But I do still worry about that we may miss. And we're gonna be studying it, so we'll figure, and we have another bill that's gonna be studying this stuff. So maybe they'll come back and tell us if there's anything we're missing.
And remember, this is only for these few mental health providers. So everybody else is doing this without regulation.
I know, I'm concerned
And
about
this
that.
only, if you think about data collection as a process, this doesn't get into that part of the process, right? So you
Doesn't.
gather data, then you have to put it somewhere, store it, and then retrieve it. And this does nothing to regulate or oversee the storage of data or the retrieval of personal data. It's just silent on it.
And it doesn't, we don't have to inform the patient that we have to get their consent to use the AI, but we don't have to know how the AI is using their data. So for example, it could be recording them and it might be private, but that company that's selling that product or leasing or whatever the word is, providing that product to the provider, that company could be mining the patient's data, using it to train their AI to do that task and more. And so people are essentially becoming AI training machines without, it's part of their healthcare. There's nothing monitoring that yet.
There is, because as Katie said, this bill, the levers are OPR and the ADO's office. So the lever there is you have clinical responsibility, and that's defined, it's clinical responsibility, right? And it's
Defined, but yes.
specifies that you have to review and approve. And you're clinically responsible, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, is clinically responsible.
Outputs, you have to check the outputs of your AI use.
Right, but it's
And
not,
OPR also has the, with their, under professional regulations, they have, conduct that you have to follow. So I think misuse, and there are terms around misuse of tools and things that I think protect people from being guinea pigs or whatever you're.
I just don't think that providers know that that's happening because they're not being asked to ask like when I asked the Department of Mental Health to tell us how their new system of tracking crisis workers was collecting our data, they could not tell me. They still haven't told us how they're collecting our data and using it to train the AI. So it's like, we're not even thinking about that. It's not about harming the person because the person doesn't know it's happening. It's about exploitation of us. It's like we're allowing companies to exploit us in the actions of our daily life, even using our phone. We're like letting them track everything we do and learn and get better at what they're using it for to make themselves money. And I don't see any protection yet. And I don't think this bill's going to do it. I think we need to just move forward and continue this discussion. And hopefully we can find ways to protect ourselves from this. The companies that are investing in AI are banking on the fact that they're going to make more money. Like the way it's designed is AI, data is AI food. So whenever you use AI, you're feeding it. In the process of you getting something from it, it's taking something from you. And I think the question is, how much is that extraction really benefiting us or them?
Okay,
But
sounds
it's-
like another bill.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's something in this bill. It's not something we're going to solve in it.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
solve this bill.
So I can let it go, but I'm just trying to articulate that it's not.
Address the
Yeah, I don't think it's
larger
addressed.
issue
Yeah,
of-
it's like something that's, I don't know how we address it.
This is a step in that direction,
It is
to be clear.
because we're at least talking about the problem and like setting some guidelines around the outward facing part. We're still not getting behind the curtain and I don't know how to do that.
Any
Sorry,
other questions on? Oh, go ahead.
Jessica Barnard from the Vermont Medical Society, and I just wanted to address one piece around the data compliance, at least one provider being compliant with, and it is referenced in the bill, the section, do I have my reference right, 1881, it basically is saying, under Vermont law, it says that all providers have to follow HIPAA. And HIPAA, which regulates data sharing of any patient identifiable information, does apply to use of AI as well. So that provider should be making sure that any AI tool they are using is a business associate, which is a term under HIPAA, and agrees to follow HIPAA, and does not share that data beyond typically sort of like an internal closed loop system, not more broadly. So HIPAA does attempt to address the data sharing beyond the walls of that provider's office.
I'm letting it go for now because like,
Happy to talk
yeah,
more
yeah,
too.
because we have to go.
Intersects with it.
And we're not going to solve it today because it's something not challenging anything you said. I think there's high tech in these additional laws because things have changed. It's scary.
Any other questions on the bill?
Please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So this bill is protecting the privacy of the information gathered. Not excluding any tools used for AI information.
I think I'd classify it differently. I think this bill is regulating how AI is used in the practice of mental health. So it's saying when AI is allowed to be used in the practice of mental health and when it's prohibited from being used in the practice of mental health. I think it's also, it has language that says somebody can't advertise or come into the state having a service having a service, a mental health service that relies on AI, like the chatbots. So it's doing two different things.
So this doesn't, I can't see anything in here that does, but does this at all limit, sorry if I'm not understanding, the good uses of AI that I've read about, like in emergency rooms that are needed, like, was it brain injury or seizure or stuff like that? Is that, it's not excluding any of that?
It
What kind of
is saying that a mental health professional can use AI for administrative and supplementary purposes like billing, like scheduling, like transcription services. But it prevents a mental health professional from using AI to make a clinical decision about a patient. They have to use their own decision making. That doesn't mean they can't research, but they, at the end of the day, have to take responsibility for any AI product, and they have to have their own clinical judgment to make a decision about a patient.
So it's how you're using that information.
Yeah, so if a mental health professional was to come up with a treatment plan or to have a direct conversation with a patient about their clinical needs, that has to be the mental health professional. They can't rely on an AI to have that clinical conversation or, you know, provide a printout to the patient, giving them a treatment plan.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. Would like to vote on this today, so I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we vote on 8/14 today.
We are not voting on 8/14 today.
8/16, oh my God. See, there's too many that are alike.
Okay. Clerk will call the roll.
Branchina,
Yes.
Wendy Critchlow,
Yes.
Alan Demar,
Yes.
Leslie Goldman,
Yes.
Bobby Houghton, Karen Linters,
Yes.
Powers, yes. Valerie Taylor, yes. Izzy Rebecca,
Yes.
Francis Murphy.
Yes.
Chair Black.
Alyssa Black. I called my own name. Black of Essex. Yes.
So 10-01.
Okay, and I've asked Wendy to report on this.
Hope it's not the same day as the ARX bill comes.
This bill, from what I can see, I don't think this bill is going to be going anywhere. So this will go on notice tomorrow and be on the floor Tuesday. Housekeeping, Brian did appropriations
They
vote
voted it out today,
today. so it'll-
11-0-0.
Okay, so we'll also have your bill. Oh, we'll have two
The AI
AI day. Healthcare AI day on the floor on Tuesday.
You better wear green though. for St. Patrick's
I
Day.
was gonna ask AI to give
Christmas
St. Patrick's Day.
We